3, especially if the supports are close in. There are a lot of stacks up on maybe in the mid lane. He has seven stacks.
With that Dragon Tail set up for Super, they may just be able to do it here. He's got one more tango to go for, but it's not going to save him. And Xiao A, pretty much man of the match in game 1 with his shot calling, his playmaking, and this role that he plays on the Batrider, which we just haven't really seen anyone else do. We saw it attempted earlier by Kaka, but not to this level. And it already looks to start out to be even better for Xiao in the beginnings of this game 2 than it was in game 1. And game 1 in itself was fantastic in its own right.
And that kill was caused by Super getting the stun at level 2. Very unusual pickup for a Dragon Knight, but if you get to a kill, especially first blood, and especially in a tough matchup like that, it's worth it. Top lane, XZ.
Xiao is there. He'll be flying over XZ as well as Jijing, and XZ falling down low, 2 stacks on him, and Xiao is enabled. Another kill already for the team. LFY picking up 2 kills, Xiao getting involved across the map.
And now, like, you have an Observer Ward on top, but there's no stacks there, and Batrider's, like, hasn't even been there. He's just wreaking havoc in the mid and the top lane. And now, Super is way ahead in the CS, or just 4 CS, I suppose, but
that's got a large wave coming in.
Yeah, it's way ahead considering that DK is supposed to lose this lane pretty hard. I've seen DKs get solo killed in this lane.
Xiao attempt 2 here with the stack. We'll see if he's a little bit more fortunate this time, and yeah, he's got the pull timing this one round, so he'll start to get these stacks up, ready to continue that farm and his relevance in this game. As XZ will head over and will block up that camp, but Xiao is still in the neighborhood. We'll see if he actually spots him out. Doesn't look like he will. XZ just keeping himself the other side of the tree line. So XZ will be able to block that camp undiscovered. So Xiao, he will be slowed down a little bit by this.
I think he suspects that he's around though, and he was trying to move about, see if anything funny was happening. But looks like he's just gonna get what, 4 stacks? I think it's generally 3-4 stacks before you start actually fireflying it down. And looks like Ogre will share the majority of the experience for this camp.
That's nice for XP. We'll get him up to that level 2 at least. So Xiao we slowed down by XP. It's being pinged out, so it looks like they're aware of something fishy going on. Potentially just checking out the XP that Xiao is getting, realizing he's not getting the full mass of it all.
There's still 1 Ogre left, but I don't think that's known to the Ogre, whose Observer Ward isn't quite to the left enough to actually spot out that Ogre, but it will block off any potential stacks.
Mid lane, as expected, once Xiao left the lane, maybe has been able to get a lead against Super, 23 against the 18. We'll see if Xiao does head back over and allow Super to kind of get a bit more space again to get back ahead of this Timbersaw matchup.
There's a haste rune bottled up for Super if they want to go for the stun. And he pops the haste, but maybe he's already back on his own hill. And now they catch a whiff of Xiao 8 again. And don't have to worry about too many ganks from him yet. They know he's just going to be stacking.
I think Xiao, realizing with the fishy business that was kind of going on in the jungle, is just kind of straight up clearing up the camps now, rather than looking to stack them any further, just making sure that he finds these early levels that he can continue to rotate into lanes and feel kind of the effects that he can offer to this mid lane matchup with Super. And focus down again. It's actually the top lane though where we're going to watch Jijing. I'm just going to look towards my end, and Jijing, know that he can fight around this until the Carapace comes through, and indeed holds back in for the time being, but End's got the phase boost. And okay, neutral creeps doing it there for LGD. They will deny LFY that kill.
Sniper Satyr.
A nice little touch there for LGD, but they do need it as at the moment. Kills they're lagging behind. Farm in the lane. Overall, I mean, Jijing's getting a fair bit out of this offlane. 21 CS at the moment.
And Xiao got the D ward on that Observer Ward, knowing that his camp was blocked. He's like, I got that stack.
I think he got 2 actually with that as well. They had 2 obses down there.
I think the
one of them times out.
I'm not sure if he got both of them. I was watching the one that was blocking. And maybe in mid lane gets doped by Xiao 8.
TP's will be coming across. It's going to be Victoria here, looking for a bit of a save. Trying to help maybe out here, looking for the nukes onto Super, but Super's actually going to end up getting regened up by this. Xiao trying to dive forward with the Fate's Edict and the Purifying Flames, keeping maybe alive. So LFY won't be successful with that sort of a dive when there's an Oracle in the neighborhood. Bottom lane, Arme and XZ putting on the pressure, and they're pretty much on the verge of taking their first tier 1 here. So it looks like LFY unable to do anything to stop this one. Yeah,
there's a haste. Xiao 8, because he's sitting right by and waiting for an opportunity to pick it up.
And they are moving in, LGD. Again, it's slippery heroes to go for. Army especially.
He's still sitting there, but there is a Radiant Observer Ward a little bit to the right that would cut off his angle of approach, but I don't know if they have enough time to react, and of course the Solar can stop a TP if they TP preemptively. He grabs a haste, he walks over mid, Victoria will be sighted first.
With the target indeed, and immediately with the Firefly starting to run over this Oracle. Maybe he's going to head over as well. Super's trying to get himself in the neighborhood. Backup is inbound for LGD as TP's come through, and that will hold Xiao 8 back. Xiao 8 caught up by the initial carapace, trying to get himself over the tree line, but maybe jumps across Timber Chain and the Chakra, bringing him down low, giving the vision for the Purifying Flames. And LGD punishing that play there from Xiao 8. It's apparent that he wasn't going to get the kill, but at the least causing attention from LGD to come out from that mid lane, but it doesn't end up paying off, giving away his life there.
The two haste runes in these two games both yield LGD a kill when LFY are the ones that pick it up. And this time the Oracle purged it off immediately, and Xiao 8 was like, I'm not in a great position right now. And thought he was safe flying over trees, but Timbersaw also utilizes trees and cliffs quite well.
Absolutely, and as this mid continues, we're starting to see the net worth differences come in, and it's about a 700 or so lead here for maybe in this matchup, and that's kind of where the overall net worth difference between the two teams is coming through. Just the slight offset in this mid lane. Elsewhere, both cores and supports getting relative farm to each other. I'm looking towards the top rune again. Xiao will be able to make sure that maybe doesn't get his hands on it. Super able to refill his bottom. The arcane rune down towards the bottom. Looks like Xiao will simply take that up on the Slardar himself. Not yet looking for any sort of rotation. Sometimes we see Slardars go for it. Jijing, I'm sorry, it's him that picks up the arcane. He actually, yeah, pops the Vendetta as well. So he's going to make sure he's got another use of the Vendetta underneath the cover of that arcane rune.
And there is a D-Ward battle in the middle. Looks like LGD Forever Young will win that one. So how does Nyx Assassin deal with this? He doesn't have that much time left on this Vendetta. He's actually shown out right now. I guess he will get another cast of Vendetta before the Arcane Rune expires. And they will smoke around, wanting to bypass that sentry in the mid lane.
This could be good as well. Just outside of range, that Obs Ward. So LGD have the potential to find a jump with this one. Jijing will be able to lead the way with Vendetta, and at the moment it looks like they do have their eyes on Yao on this bottom lane on the Slardar.
Ooh, does not go for that range creep. That's exactly what LGD were waiting for. I'm pretty sure he would have just stunned out an invis with the position that he was at. But LFY are playing very tight and close as Xiao 8 and Super use a smoke of their own. They do have a sentry ward that Xiao 8 had placed earlier, waiting for the Nyx to pop it. And now that it hasn't popped yet and no one's died on top lane, they all run to bottom.
Here we go, the smoke dispelled. Xiao knows something's up, drops down the sentry and allow the vision here for the Dragon Tail. But it looks like Nyx is just outside of range of the sentry, so Jijing to head back, but he goes back under range. Yao able to lay down the amplify. Jijing getting caught out. The rest of LGD have already backed off. So LFY reading the situation, dropping down the sentry, and getting themselves that kill.
Yeah, they're so good at dealing with the Nyx. Like sentry wards immediately as soon as he hits 6, and then everyone's playing close to their towers and then the smoke, so they can reveal almost with certainty where he is with the sentry ward.
Maybe potentially helping something good here. LFY Super heading across, and they do have backup as well. They're going to look to try and lean in with the Dragon Tail, stealing the Invis rune, maybe. Simply going up to the high ground, but the Kinetic Field and the Static Storm drop down by DDC. The backup will be there for Victoria, but he's yet to hit level 6. No false promise, but it looks like it's not needed. Maybe able to turn around with the Chakram onto Yao, coming in with a 2-man crush, but LGD there fine, and it's going to be Slardar losing his life. LFY paying the price here, and LGD are moving forward for more. They've got eyes onto Xiao. The stun for Jijing isn't going to connect, but Arme continues to chase down with the Shikuchi. They'll hold him in place there as Victoria's there with the backup. LGD able to equalize the scoreboard, get a couple of kills back their way.
And you're beginning to see how tanky Timbersaw is, even with like all these stuns and a kinetic field and the static storm dropped right on top of him. He didn't die, and a lot of it was due to Victoria just being ready with his Oracle sitting behind him. And there wasn't enough levels on the kinetic field to actually keep him locked into the static storm. That also hurt LFY a lot. And Super, he did get the Invis rune, now just kind of maybe looking for an easy kill, but Timbersaw has 20 stacks of reactive. That is, it's not really the target that you can kill right now.
Absolutely not. And Super having to hang back and allow LGD to get a bit of damage done to this tier 1 in the mid lane. DDC is still around as well, but the two of them,
yeah, he just wants to keep his
lacking the damage really.
He's just constantly tanking. I don't even know if he's losing HP at this point.
And he's got, if he is, you know, Victoria's there with the backer behind and a false promise at the ready. So very little that LFY can do with these two heroes to stop maybe. He's just getting away with what everyone wants in this mid lane at the moment.
Yeah, looked like he was gaining HP with just the tower attacking him. It was pretty close. And Xiao 8 ready to wrap around from the top side. He does have Lasso available, but no Firefly for 8.
I'm going to try for it, but Victoria's there. And as I said, the false promise is always going to be available. They do have to lock down with the Lasso to drag him back. Maybe he could play his way out of this, though. No damage is pretty much taken off that false promise because of the regen that he has. They just can't bring him down. And now LGD, they've brought over the backup. Super will hold back Jijing with the Dragon Tail. Maybe Timber chaining across, looking for blood, focusing down on Zhao with this full-on chakram, pulls it back in, takes down the Bat Rider, and maybe surviving through it all. And as we're seeing LFY, they just don't have the tools to bring down this Timbersaw at this stage of the game, and maybe he's not done. He's going to be back in with the Chakram. Jijing will get taken down by the Crush. Amplify from Yao. Now GG now on the retreat. They've lost 1 for 1, and he glimpses back onto Armain. In fact, Armain's out of mana, crushed up, and they've lost the Weaver. That was not what LGD wanted to happen off the back of that one.
They just stayed so long, and none of their heroes had mana left at that point. Like, Timbersaw was out of mana, couldn't really go in.
I mean, we're certainly seeing LFY struggle to kill, maybe, but as you said, if the rest of LGD's teammates hang around, there'll certainly be easier targets here.
It's really tough for the Knicks, too. He's, like, constantly just caught out. He was caught in a kinetic field at the start, and later on he was just caught out by the stun. He was sat in Firefly for a bit, and he was at, like, 30% HP. He's like, I want to get my Vendetta damage off, but I also, like, don't want to die. And he was kind of caught in that position of whether or not he should go in.
And maybe just once again, a couple of punches onto the tier 1. And it's causing a lot of the attention of LFY. They've got Super here, backed up by Yao and TDC. Maybe they try again with a bit of a glimpse into a crush of sorts, but Victoria's there to purge off the Amplifier. Will still get glimpse back in again with the standing stone. They're going to try and go for round 2, but again, Victoria's there with a false promise. They're going to follow through Lasso, holding him in place, but again, have they actually got the damage to bring him down? They do punish it by killing off the Oracle, but they aren't killing this Timbersaw. Again, another kinetic field. They have Amplify on him, but a full Chakram and a good stun for Jijing holding, and in the midst of it brings him incredibly low. He'll be able to rage and armlet toggle his way out of it all. Maybe again being this bad. They want to kill this Timbersaw so damn bad. With the Amplify, they may just be able to do it. No, he's still alive. Surely he dies here. He will finally fall. But it takes so much effort there from LFY, but it is a big kill to finally get.
It was very smart how LFY.
They're getting more by the looks of it as well, with these glimpse plays for DDC, bringing in XZ as well.
That's the Bat Rider Blink. So the way they started off that fight was they knew that the same thing was going to happen. Okay, they'll pull Timbersaw closer to the tower, but Oracle false promises, and because of Oracle false promises, he's in vision, and Lifestealer just ran straight past the Timbersaw and ran straight at the Oracle, and Oracle died, and after that, Timbersaw is going to fall shortly thereafter, or maybe at some point thereafter, with the Oracle dead.
8 for 4, LFY. Overall farm, still looking good for Arme during that whole kind of fight in the mid lane. He was eyeing up the top tier 1, was able to clear it down.
Yeah, I think he needs more farm. Like, looking at his items, he doesn't have his Lincolns yet, and nor does he have boots. And I suppose he's going for Maelstrom or Tread, not too sure with the Gloves of Haste. But regardless, he needs his Lincolns first. Blocks Glimpse, Lasso, Dragon Knight Stun, Amp, I would say, like, all very good skills.
They're going for this play again. Using maybe trying to bait LFY in for a bit of a jump. LGD already looking for the wraparound, but there's a sentry down. They've got the items of Jijing. They have to use the false promise to keep the Nyx assassin alive. Static Storm as well, clipping both of them. They've taken down Victoria. They'll turn towards Jijing as well. He'll die post false promise. They may have got the tower, but they've lost 2 heroes, and they may even lose more. Yao unable to hit the crush though. And with the glimpse already used, the rest of LGD will be able to retreat. 10.5 minutes in, 10 to 4.
LFY is just always one step ahead. They weren't expecting that. They already had a sentry ward, I would say, placed from like 3 minutes ago, sitting behind the tower, and not expecting the blink on the Bat Rider, and he had him immediately lassoed. And Oracle's position was immediately compromised.
Proving to be a very, very tricky game once again for Victoria. False promises having to be used before lasso and such. There isn't that initial save to bring them out of it all.
Yeah, he was just locked in by kinetic field. And the Nyx assassin too is again having a rough game. And he doesn't have as much farm as last game too. So he has to make I guess it's slightly easier in the last game because of no silencer, but he still had to deal with the Bat Rider. Normally you think of Nyx doesn't countering the Bat Rider, but in this game and the last, Bat Rider's been countering the Nyx just by grabbing him immediately.
He does have Lincoln's absolutely crucial against this lineup, but at the same time, LFY have a lot of ways of popping it. We will have to be careful. Only still feels like the Weaver will be waiting on the next item of sorts before really turning up to all of these fights. And as we can see at the moment, being paired up against this Lifestealer, as End's been showing us, and he's having some fantastic results so far in this game.
I was like, that doesn't look like End, because he's hiding inside.
Here we have it. There we have, as you mentioned, inside Xiaowei. And eyes towards the bottom lane. It is just XZ, but he's out on his own, and they'll take a free kill. LFY make short work of the Ogre. Not a lot that XZ could do. Just hoping to come out of the lane for some levels and farm.
But they don't blow a lasso. Like, so you're like, oh yeah, they blew a smoke for it. But with no lasso and a free T1, I think an Ogre kill is definitely worth it. Normally you're like, it's just an Ogre. We wasted our smoke for that. Not really worth it this time. It's a little bit different.
Maybe he has that Bloodstone done now, so if he's able to kind of show us a bit of the flashy performance that he had in the earlier fights in the mid lane, he could start to swing the momentum back in favor of LGD. And at the moment, definitely LFY with the lead. Maybe actually just waltzing straight in. There will be TPs across, and they're going to start to force LFY back, focusing Super down first, and coming in on the front lines. And Victoria has to false promise himself to keep himself alive. Yao coming in with a 4-man crush. There's no follow-up at the moment, though, from LFY. And now Yao in a bit of a tricky position himself, maybe. Jumping across with the Timber Tray, looking to finish off Yao. He's getting himself away there with the crush and the run. Held in position by Victoria. One more chakra should do it, so maybe straight after picking up the Bloodstone, able to get himself a charge in the bank. Jijing, he's actually looking for more here. Coming around the back lines, eyes onto Xiaowei and onto Super. On the low ground, maybe. See if he can get a jump across. And he's going to look towards and starting to chomp down. Not popping the rage yet. So good chance for Jijing to come immediately out of the Embers with the stun. But End, he doesn't quite die. He gets the rage and the honor of Xiaowei is there with the back of the last auto maybe. And the Lifestealer surviving for the time being as he jumps into the bat. I mean, Xiaowei, he's had a remarkable game 1, and here in game 2, he's there to save his teammates and get them out of the trickiest of situations.
Just always there with his team, as you mentioned, and they were so close to killing Lifestealer, but you can tell it's a little bit in Jixing's head too. He's like, I don't think, or actually, it's more so the good play of LFY. They're like always ready with their instant cast. Like he has to lead them with the impale, because if he waits for the vendetta into the impale, he's going to be able to rage it off. And same with the last game. They had spin, they had manta, they had BKBs, and it is extremely difficult for him to actually get the jump. But they tried. They almost killed the Lifestealer before he could rage.
Almost, but indeed at this stage of the game, almost is not good enough, especially when you're a game away from being eliminated here at the Boston Major. LGD in this game too, that they desperately need the win of 5-11 at the moment. And behind in kills, farm-wise, again, it's a similar story to what we saw in game 1, really. Both Ame and Maybe in a very good position when it comes to net worth. You know, ever since that kind of failed fight mid, Ame's been avoiding it, getting the farm up on this Weaver. And he's put himself in a very comfortable position.
They're scared of Roche. They know they have a Slard in the game. They used scan about 5-10 seconds before, right outside the Roshan pit, to see if they had entered. But LFY are just all standing outside the pit. So let's see how LGD approach this. Looks like one hero will go in, see if the smoke pops, and Amaze has not popped yet. So now they know that they're probably waiting for each other, and it's a game of chicken right now.
It is, and this is going to be the reveal of Yao's Blink Dagger on the Slardar.
I think he had it last fight.
Did he? Yeah.
I think so. Anyways.
I'll see. Oh yeah, he did then. It's getting late. LGD. And looks like they aren't going to find anything indeed with that smoke. LFY is still in a potential position to make a jump themselves. DDC, even though we're getting a bit of vision, Super pops the Dragonform, turns towards maybe. Jijing still under the cover of Vendetta, could look for some kind of a counterplay. They're trying to find DDC on the sidelines, but he gets the static still down on the Weaver. Victoria there with a backup, keeping the Weaver alive with the false promise. Maybe chops down through the midst of them all, and he's found the kill on to Disrupt, to the first casualty on LFY. Maybe Timber chaining away, and it looks like it will just end up as of that, but these sort of little fights where maybe is able to pick up an extra Bloodstone charge, and the team loses nothing. I mean, LGD will be fine with that.
Ame tried to TP back to get healed up, and then he time-lapsed thinking that it would bring him back to the fight, but he just time-lapsed back to the fountain.
Ooh. He's trying to play off cool though. He's like, I want his head to the top lane anyway to pick up the farm.
Yeah, he needed a TB back because he was under effective false promise, and I think that little bit of fountain regen carried him over to survive. I like his positioning that fight, and LFY were ready for that. He jumped with the slaughter, but Victoria was even more ready with the immediate false promise.
And off the back of that fight, I mean, it really is the question of what the next bit of play is going to be for LGD, because they, as we saw before, with that smoke, they knew that Roshan was going to be on the menu very shortly for LFY, and now it's come up. They're into the pit, LFY. LGD are in the neighborhood. Arme trying to make his way over. Still a bit of a distance to go.
They actually
LGD
don't
want
have
to contest.
sentries. There's no sentries like immediately outside the pit, which is where Nyx is at right now. And he has to go a little bit to the north side in order to get
on the side.
Yeah, he doesn't have BKB this time, and he could probably go for a Vendetta hit, but now, oh, they smoke, I believe, right under the Observer Ward, and now they will stand over.
Coming through.
Do you want to stand on the north side, though? They do have an Observer Ward over there, as well as a Sentry Ward. I'm not sure if that's worth the positioning. And these, okay, maybe he's out in front, he pops the smoke.
And immediate jump in Static Storm will catch out Jijing. They'll jump in, burst down the Victoria Oracle, and that's the big kill to the point of the start. Victoria's been saving a lot of heroes in these fights. This time he's not going to get the chance to. They've lost two. Jijing's going to buy back, but maybe it's well to fall. LFY finding 3 kills out of this one, and maybe even more. Jijing trying to get himself back in with the stone to hold back LFY's onslaught, but the jump in from Yao is a 3-man crush. XD, he's going to fall, and there's going to be a dieback for Jijing. LFY absolutely doing it here. They'll go for the TP out. Xiao makes it away as well.
Man, Yao has been performing. Like, he always identifies the best targets. Last game, he was all on top of the wisp. This game, he just bypasses maybe. It was like, we can't kill him. And he just went for the back line. Stunned the Oracle out.
And this match, of course, deciding who the final Chinese team will be here at the Boston Major, and LFY certainly proving how they deserve this position with these sort of performances. And LGD still need to step it up in terms of team play. As we mentioned, individual performance for their 2 cores is looking good. Maybe an Arme in great positions, but has just overall execution and the way that they pull together in these team fights, it always seems to be a step behind that of LFY's.
If it's not Xiao getting the great initiation, it's Yao. And these 2 guys are buddies, and they're well equally matched in their initiation skills. And maybe he's trying to stand out in front, but like, how do they actually protect the back line? It's all about the team fights in between these 2 teams. They just keep on fighting and fighting and fighting. And like, even though LGD lost that fight, they didn't concede Roshan. So now they're headed back to this area. How do they want to approach the fight? They need Arme, I think, to sweep around the side, and then Victoria to sit behind him in case they jump him. And if not, then he can pick out the Disruptor. And Bat Rider doesn't have a Force Staff, so he can't actually jump the Weaver in the next engagement. So it's, I think, a lot up to the Weaver and a lot up to the Nyx Assassin in order to keep these heroes stun locked. And this is before BKBs, mind you, or at least all the prior fights. Now, Super first BKB of the game.
We'll see how he's able to fight with it, as well as they do have eyes around this LGD. Leading over, and LFY certainly in position to jump.
Yeah, they definitely saw this. BKB popped out. Look at Super bright and yellow right next to the T2 tower. Yep, that's one that you can't really hide. Normally you're like in the fog when this happens, but when you're right next to creeps, they definitely know what's up.
LGD.
So that, I mean,
they're just gonna push in on this. Yeah, they know the Super.
Yeah, you have a 4,000 gold lead on LFY, but you don't have your BKB, so that's kind of there goes that lead.
LFY still may be willing to try and make a fight happen though. Xiao can get a good jump in. They're so complete.
Look at Yao. Yao's coming in from the left side on the secret shot. He's trying to flank them.
He's actually kind of getting cold feet. He's back off. Super's going to be the one to lead in. Dragon Tail onto the Timber Saw. It's the hardest target to go on. Yao has End inside him. But again, not wanting to jump in on this one. The bugs from Arme holding back the initiation.
LGD don't have sentries. They're just going to get jumped with no vision.
Jijing dragged straight back into the Static Storm, and that'll be one freebie here for the side of LFY.
Yeah, look at that. They have 2 sentries and 1 Observer Ward. LGD were sitting under LFY's Observer Wards. You cannot let that happen when you're trying to push this tower or fight around the Roche pit. Now LFY looks like they're just going to head into Roshan perhaps. Timbersaw, I guess, can keep them at bay. It looks like he is going for a Lotus Orb to dispel that Amplify. And Open Wounds. Both pretty good. And maybe Reflect the Lasso if he's lucky.
I'll be interested to see how much confidence they show in terms of trying to take that Roche, knowing that there's a member down. But as you said, LFY still respecting the potential that LGD have with this four-member lineup. And now, Jijing back on the board and ready to join his fellow teammates to continue to try and maintain control around this area. But as you said, in terms of warding, it's just not quite been there for LGD around this Roche pit, as LFY have been absolutely on top with the D-wards.
Yeah, I don't even think have any sentries in their inventory. So, like, the Nyx hasn't been having a good time, but also, like, his supports haven't been laying a foundation of wards in order to make him feel comfortable running in. They only have the one sentry ward, and it doesn't even cover that observer ward that LFY have, and it doesn't cover the immediate entrance inside the pit. So Nyx Assassin just can't walk in, nor does he have Blink Deck. I'm not really sure what he's going for with this ring of regen that he has. Maybe Force Staff, not sure. But here we go, Smoke, Yao has someone inside of him. And Dire has used skin, it hits red.
Bullseye indeed from the scan. LFY could pretty much a perfect wraparound potential here. LGD are pushing forward with a full 5-man. If they can get the jump on Victoria, so it's going to be so hard for LGD to turn this one around. The lead in here from Zhao, super. Maybe he's going to jump back first. Spike Carapace will come back out, but the Static Storm's there, trapping the Nyx Assassin. N will take him down. They found Victoria as well on the back lines. The two heroes that are crucial for LFY to find at the start of this fight. Xe is going to be the third to be focused down. The Crush holding maybe in place. He Lotus Orbs himself. Is he going to save him from the right clicks of N? As maybe falling down low, burned down by the fire of the dragon. Super able to pick up the fourth there. And again, it's just this shot calling, this playmaking from LFY, which is making them seem like they're on another level today, Ben.
Yeah, it's just way better than LGD's at the moment. Like, DK got a stun on the Nyx Assassin, and then in the back line you have the Slardar just jump the Oracle. Their priority selection isn't who they see first. They see someone, and then they're like, okay, I know that supports our position, you know, X units behind them because they don't have Aether Lens, and they don't have a Blink Dagger, so they have to be standing close, or else we'll just kill them. So they're always one step ahead of LGD. They know exactly where the Oracle is going to be in the fight, and how do you really counter that? You counter that with perhaps pretty strong wards. So look at the Nyx Assassin. Yeah, Nyx Assassin's done. Top side, Oracle's already dead.
I mean, it's Zhao. He was straight in with the lasso onto Victoria, making sure no sort of false promise or sort comes out, and they take down the weaker heroes first. You know, suddenly all the backliners are gone, and then they're able to focus down onto maybe. And there's just no way that he can play his way out of this one.
You can tell their game plan. Like, he probably just told them, kill the Oracle. Whatever you do, kill the Oracle. And you can, it's just like the Timber Cell doesn't even exist until, you know, 20 seconds into the fight, or 10 seconds into the fight, after the Oracle and his supporting cast are already dead. So they need more farm cores so that their supports don't have to show. Like, Timber Cell's like kind of farm, but without 20 stacks, I don't actually think he can survive versus this amount of burst. And they need better spread in their items. Like, if their supports are more farmed, like if he has a Blink Dagger, for example, he can stand like way further back. And if like the Ogre has a Lotus Orb, for example, then he can protect the Timber Saw instead of just being ignored and being used as a Bloodlust machine. But because so much of the farm is concentrated onto Ame and Maybe, like, they can just kite them because there's no BKB on Timber Saw, and he's not going to use his Lotus Orb perhaps at like the very start of the fight, or even if he does, he can just BKB stun him. So they kite the Timber Saw, and then the Weaver, they just go for it after they go for the Oracle. So the game plan from LFY is pretty simple, but how does LGD counterplay that?
As you said, you know, maybe he's suffering as well in terms of Bloodstone charges down to 6. Yao's picked up a Shadow Blade, and that's going to just further increase the problem that LGD supports have in terms of the value that they're at the moment. They're going to get poorer and poorer because they're going to need to invest in more map control to help deal with these jump-ins from Yao. Already actually searching out their own jungle. Has to be a bit careful here. I'll go for the straight TP out. He should be safe here. No vision in that area. It's Yao, DDC, and the rest of LFY came hunting. The Fusel Blade now done for Ame, and I mean, in this game, in what particular reason are you getting this? Is it just for the Amplifier, or why else is he building this over other items after that Deso Lincoln's?
Yeah, a little bit for the Amplify, as you mentioned, but I think a lot of it just because they need damage. They need to be able to kill people. You want to kill this Disruptor before anything else, but the problem with that is they can't actually like kill the Disruptor before he gets his spells off. The only disabled they have is Fire Blast again and Nyx Assassin, which hasn't been able to stun lock people in the fight, and he just does not have the mobility to move around. And it looks like Yao might jump here, and look, he feels so comfortable. He has a sentry ward right on top of him.
They have sentries absolutely everywhere. The warding from LFY. I mean, you just see, look over to LGD's jungle. There's 3 observer wards, the sentries down the mid lane. It's so hard for LGD to get what they intend to get done with this sort of a lineup. Picking this Nyx Assassin, and suddenly it's just unable to set anything up, and it's LFY consistently setting things up onto you. Yao just jumps straight into the jungle, finds Victoria, they just turn their eyes towards Jijing as well, and just like that, it's quick and easy pickoffs. 2 at a time for LFY. Because of this warding and because of this control they have over the map and over the whole game as well in its entirety at this stage.
Yeah, they're just setting up so many more kills for Yao and his crew just with all these observer wards and sentries. Like even last fight, they have 2 sentries down in the same place just because they know that vision is that important. They need to make sure that they find the Nyx, and they need to make sure that Slaughter can get his Shadow Blade off.
Now they're going to get their hands on the high ground, tier 3 to fall very, very quickly. There'll be a fortification with the Dragon Form and the Lifestealer with the Deso and Hyperstone at this stage. There's no lack of pushing power from LFY, maybe. Try and come forward with the Lotus Sword, making sure that it's hard to be glimpsed back. Army's going to go for a bit of a split again on the top lane, similar to what we saw in terms of playstyle in game 1. They're going to Fire Blast to hold back the Dragon. Is Chakram actually bringing N down low, but Yao's there. He jumps inside, blinks away, takes the Lifestealer back to safety. Super just BKBs, TPs back out. Army was actually able to finish off the bat though. He came back, Xiaowei, looking for the defense, was able to ward Arme away. Actually playing with his life, and no, Yao coming in with a surprise, and no, they get revenge. They may have lost the director, but N producing a fantastic kill there with the help of Yao.
And the double-edged sword with the Lincolns. Lincolns is great versus the Batrider, but it's terrible versus the Slaughter. Like you can still easily die in a Slithering Crush. So like he doesn't really have the HP to survive even building 1 defensive item. So what do? Do you have to go 2 defensive items and do no damage? Like BKB Lincolns is kind of seen as a weak build by some because you just don't have that much agility, nor do you have that much damage. But if he doesn't get BKB, he just gets crushed by the Slaughter. So it's a tough position for him. And Lifestealer looking to diversify his build a little bit, going with a Maelstrom. He already has a lot of minus armor. Like we saw the Weaver just die in like 2 or 3 hits in that particular engagement. But dealing with the Timbersaw is another story. He itemized purely against physical damage with a lot of armor from the Lotus and perhaps the Shivas from the Plate Mail, and no hood that we see sometimes on a Timbersaw. So the Maelstrom will help a little bit with that. And if he gets kited and he has Mjolnir on, he's gonna hit a lot of people.
And at this stage of the game as well, you know, kind of asked the question in game 1, how did LGD come back? It's already looking here in game 2 that they're in even a much more stickier situation, Ben.
They have to buy Gem. I think Gem is the first step. The Gem, so they have the vision advantage in the fight, so that their Invis heroes feel comfortable moving around in the fights. They can de-ward, and they can also see the Slaughter coming, and they can take down these Observer wards. It's a heavy investment right now, but I don't know who would get it, but I think that's the very first step that they need to do. And then after that, I don't know. I don't know if building BKBs is the right solution. I guess at some point you do. In mid lane, he just dies to another Infest Bomb just in a matter of seconds to crush.
This vision, this pick-off potential, and Yao consistently finding things, and it's a big pick-off indeed as well to have this stage because he's out for a full minute. Arme, no way that he can help the lineup out as LFY coming in with this heavy push on the bottom lane, maybe trying to draw their attention away from the wreck, but Xiaowei immediately in and gets Victoria. The pick-off that he needs each and every time. Static Storm controlling maybe. They've lost 3 on LGD. It's 27-7. Xe is glimpsed back. He loses his life as well, and GG is called. It's all too much here for LGD's original squad, and it'll be LFY moving on as the last representative Chinese side here at the Boston Major, Ben.
Yeah, and it is no surprise that like Xiaowei's team always perform at each and every Valve event, and you know the panel was backing. Okay, I trust whatever team has Xiaowei, even though there's maybe the superstar on another team. Like Xiaowei, teamwork, chemistry, shot calling, whatever it is on LGD.